Hi, it's Grandma Roseanne, and I'm so glad you're in the kitchen with me today because we're going to make an old family traditional wonderful dish. We're going to make a chicken pot pie. Now, I have made them for many, many years, but boy, I'll tell you, I've pulled a recipe together here that is just delicious. So what we're going to start out with is baking some chicken. Now, you can use chicken breast. If you're going to do this recipe, like a full chicken breast would be great. I have got thighs here that I have already roasted. So what I did is I just put olive oil, salt, pepper, put them in the oven for 45 minutes, and then allowed them to reach 165 degrees, and then we're going to just shred them. I cooled them down just a little bit. Now all you want to do is just pull that off, and then you're going to do this. Just want it shredded. Now, if you prefer chunks, you can do chunks as well. I've done both, and both are equally good. But I don't know, I kind of like the shredded a little bit better than I like having the chunks. So whatever your fancy is, that's what you want to do. Now, I'm going to do this in 2 stages. I'm going to get it all, I'm going to get the sauce done, the chicken is done. I'm going to have everything cooked. But then cameraman and I are going to go out and play because this is going to be dinner, and right now it's, I don't know, about 9 o'clock in the morning. So we're going to get everything ready, and then when we come back and we're ready for dinner, then I'm going to complete this. And I can also tell you maybe what fun stuff we found when we were out. We're going to go shopping. And this is what we got for 4 chicken thighs. Now I'm just going to measure it out just so you'll have an about. If you're using a chicken breast or other parts of the chicken, you want to know about how much you have. 2 cups. 2 cups would be perfect. Now the skin, you're going to discard. You don't want that anymore. But all of this juice here in the pan, I'm going to take that with me because I'm going to use a little bit of that because there's so much flavor in this. So come on over here with me. We have to go to the stovetop. Well, what I have here is what you would call mirepoix. And mirepoix simply means you have everything cut, everything measured, everything ready, and then you start. And it really makes life a lot easier for you if you do that because it goes very quickly then. Now I have a pan here that's heating. I want you to really use the pan that has it's the heaviest pan you have because you're actually going to be making a white sauce in here. So I want you to have something that won't scorch or burn on the bottom. So into this I'm going to be putting 5 tablespoons of butter. And I'm going to pour just a little bit of that in there. I have 3/4 cup of chopped onion. We're going to let that just soften a little bit. And I'm doing this like on a medium-high heat. I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of garlic. I have garlic paste here, but you can use just a couple of cloves of garlic and just kind of mince them up nice. You always do your onions first and then your garlic because your garlic will burn if you're not careful with that. Three-quarters cup of carrots are going to go in, and 3/4 cup of celery. And to this, I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. Just give that a good mix. All we're wanting to do here is just soften all the vegetables. I'm turning it up a little bit more, probably to a medium-high heat, simply because I just want to cook these down a little bit faster. And look at this cool thing. Isn't that the coolest thing ever? I love this thing. I used to get just a mess on my counters, and now you get this and you can put all your spoons, your spatulas as you're using them in there, keep your counters clean. Uncooperative. Look at that. Look at that. Nobody wants to bite into that. We will toss that out of the mix.
Okay.
To this, I'm going to add a half a teaspoon of garlic powder and a half a teaspoon of onion powder. This is going to be so flavorful. You are really going to enjoy it. My family has loved this, and I have made this for years.
Okay.
All right, these are fairly softened now. Now we're going to start getting a thickening agent in it. I have a half a cup of flour. We want to cook that down. And I'm going to cook the flour just to get the raw taste out of it. So it's going to be maybe 2 or 3 minutes. I'll cook it, stir it. This really is a very, very easy dinner to make. It really is. All right, now to this, I'm going to start slowly, and I'm going to add chicken stock. And at this point, you're entitled to say, that looks yucky, because it does. But it's going to look and taste fabulous in a little bit of time. Nice and thick, it's not totally runny. I started with 2 cups of chicken stock, and I wanted to just really see where we were. So I've got another cup in here. I don't believe I'm going to use all of it, but I'll tell you how much of it I will use because it was a little bit thick. I tasted, so I'm going to adjust the seasoning a little bit. I'm going to put in another half teaspoon of salt and another 1/4 teaspoon of pepper. It's always good to do that, you guys. It's always good to get in there and take a taste and see what it tastes like. Now, we're going to add frozen peas, okay? Very traditional in this dish. And I'm also going to add a half a cup of heavy cream. That just intensifies the richness of this dish. Do you have to have it? No, you do not. But I highly recommend it. But if you're kind of watching calories, you know, you might want to stay away from it. But if you want to splurge and make life wonderful, just use it. Okay, that's a very nice consistency. And to this, we are now going to add our chicken. That's a lot of chicken in there, you guys. Now I'm going to take another taste just to see how we are. I've got to get that pea off of there. I hate peas. But I do, I hate them. So every time I dig in here, there's a pea on there. Oh, there. I don't know why. I think that's the only vegetable I really have trouble with, but I'm not as bad as I used to be. Oh, that's good. Really good. You're gonna love it. Okay, now this is what we're gonna do. I'm going to shut this off, but cameraman and I are going to take off and we're going to go shopping. We're going to go to a garden center because we need to pick up a few things for our yard. Then we're going to watch football, and then when we come back, we're going to finish this off. And that is going to be our dinner as we're watching our evening football games. So you hang tight, go do something fun, and I will be back when we finish playing throughout the day. So hold tight, we'll finish up. Well, we're back at it. I told you I would tell you all the wonderful things we did this afternoon. We got absolutely nothing accomplished. We didn't get to any of the stores we were going to go to. We didn't get to the garden center. We didn't do anything we set out to do, but we had a nice day anyway. So now we are back, and now we're getting right back to getting finished with our chicken pot pie. What is so wonderful about this dinner is you can do what we did. Make it in the morning, serve it in the evening. You can make it on a Sunday, serve it on a Thursday. It just doesn't matter, because once you have this done, you can put it in the refrigerator, leave it for a few days actually, then do what I did, which was I just came back and reheated everything. So now I've got it up to temperature, and I will show you what we are going to do now. So let me get it off of the stove, and we have to move back over to the counter. Okay. Now, there's a ton of things you can do for the crust on a chicken pot pie. You can make a pie crust and put it on there. You can you can use phyllo dough, which I've done, and I've used puff pastry. And I like puff pastry. I like what it does, and I like the texture and the way it tastes. So we're going to do puff pastry today. I've already got the oven set at 350 degrees. So now on puff pastry, if you haven't used it, what you actually need to do is get it out of the freezer. It's a frozen product. You'll find it in your grocer's freezer. And you need to let it either defrost overnight or a full day in your refrigerator, or if it's going to be on the counter, at least for 4 hours, which we did. Now, I'm going to take it out. 2 sheets of puff pastry come like this. Just like that. Okay, this one we're going to put away for another wonderful meal. And now you just open it up, just like this. Get those papers out of there. And we're just going to roll it out. Just like this. So you just want to roll this out so that it's going to be the right size for your container. So if you were using a bowl like this, you're going to roll it out differently than I'm doing. So I'm using something like this, so I'm going to be able to put it this way. So just measure and know that you can cut it once you get it to about the right size, and you can trim around the edges of it. Be careful not to put flour on the board, because it's going to kind of hamper the rising of the pastry. So you don't want to do that. Now we are going to need an egg wash. So it's just 1 egg. Beat it up a little bit. And you're going to need to brush the outside of your bowl and the rim of your bowl, just like that. Okay. Now you will fill it, and I'm keeping it on a cookie sheet because it's going to be much easier to work with when it's on a cookie sheet. There. Then we're going to take our filo dough and just go over the top like that. Going to want to trim away because you don't want that much overhang. Just about an inch will do just fine. I don't want to be encumbered by the handles, so I'm going to cut a little bit more off over here. Okay. Now, I'm going to just kind of press it in just a little bit, like that. And then you want your egg wash on top of it, like this. This is a very easy dough to work with, so you don't have to really worry about it tearing or separating on you. Unlike phyllo dough, if you work with phyllo dough, that can be a little bit challenging, but this puff pastry is beautiful. There are recipes online for puff pastry, and I've made it really, really expensive to make. And boy, does it take a long time, and it takes tons of butter. So for me, I'm just gonna go buy it. I'm happy with doing that. Don't throw these little pieces away. Then I'm just going to make those into like maybe cinnamon sugar, or I can roll it up with a little bit of, I don't know, mushroom, onion type thing. You can do everything with them, okay? But now we do want to add a little bit of salt to the top, a little bit of pepper, okay? And this is going to go into that 350-degree oven for about 12 minutes, 13 minutes. I want you to really keep watching it. As soon as it's all golden and beautiful, it's done. Because remember, the complete mixture over here is completely cooked. You could just put that in a bowl and eat it by itself. So we don't have to worry about cooking anything other than the pastry top. So I'm gonna pop it in the oven, and I will time it for like 12 minutes, and then we'll take a look to see if we need to adjust that or not. I'll be back in 12. We're done, but I led you down a wrong path, so I have to correct it. It's not 350 degrees, it's 400 degrees, okay? And then I had to leave it in for a couple minutes longer. So you just want to check yours and make sure that it looks glorious like this. Look at that. Now I'm going to let this cool down a little bit. I'm going to let it rest for about 10 minutes, and then we will cut and serve. But it does need to have a little bit of time to stop all that internal boiling and to let it just kind of settle in a little bit. So now it's all complete. And when you do things in stages like we did this, we made it at 9 o'clock this morning and then just finished it off about 6 o'clock. It makes life so much easier than doing it all at one time. Now, let's just see what we've got going here. Oh, that pastry is just so nice. Can you hear that little bit of crunch in there? Now, I don't know about you guys, but I love the crust. So I always pull that off and thoroughly enjoy that. Okay, now as cameraman would say, it's the time for the meat of the program. So it's right here. Now, I think I put 9 million peas in this thing. I really do, but I'm a big girl. I'm a big girl, and I know I can handle it. Okay, so here goes. Absolutely outstanding. Not just good or great, I mean outstanding. Those flavors come together so beautifully, and then with a puff pastry on top of it, oh my goodness, it's good. Now, I do have to tell you, cameraman asked me when we took our little break here, he said, well, why didn't you do the other pieces? I said, because the Chiefs are playing and I can't be messing around with it. We got to get to television. We're just going to get ourselves plated and get in front of that television, and we are going to enjoy the game. So please subscribe, please come back, hit the little bell, and ingredients obviously will be below. So thank you so much. Enjoyed spending time with you. Bye. Oh, wow, that's good.